Now I'd like to talk about one of the most misunderstood areas of financial planning and tax planning, and that is the area of trusts. First off, a lot of people think of trusts, and they're obviously very confused at the get-go, but a lot of them say, well, I have a trust, and I'll say, okay, what kind? Revocable or irrevocable? And they kind of look at me with the deer in headlights, and we finally figure out what they have is a living trust. A living trust is kind of a substitution for a will that helps you avoid probate. Now, that may or may not be necessary depending on where you live and what kind of assets are in your estate. But the kind of trusts I'm talking about are irrevocable trusts that can do incredibly important things for your life, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, years and years beyond when you're not on this planet anymore. And so it's important to have some basic understanding of trusts. They can be incredibly important for, again, maintaining assets, not ruining people's lives, not giving half of everything you've earned to the IRS. There's so many things they can be used for. So I'm going to touch on a couple of them here. The first one is commonly referred to as a credit shelter trust. So, for instance, I have my book coming out. I named the chapter Raoul the Pool Boy on this one. And basically, it's a situation that I've seen happen many times. Husband and wife, they have a fair amount of assets, some kids together. Maybe the husband passes away. And the money then goes to the wife. And the wife gets remarried, in this case, Raoul. Well, invariably, in the end, the person that gets all of the assets are Raoul's kids from a former marriage. So the person that passed away, the dad, he did not get his wishes taken care of because he didn't have a trust. Not only that, but when the wife passed away, there would be a huge estate tax in some situations. So an example of this would be, let's say that somebody has a large estate and one of them passes away. What happens is that half of the estate is then put into a trust for the benefit of the surviving spouse. So let's say the husband passes away and they're worth $6 million combined. 3 of it's going to go into this trust. She is going to be the income beneficiary of that trust. So the income from that will go to her. And someday she gets remarried. And the new guy comes along and says, hey, let's grab some of that money. And they can't have it if they have the proper trustee. It's not available to them unless the trustee agrees with this. And so it protects those assets. The income from the assets, again, go to her. But the ownership, the principal, is set there to go to his kids someday. So it's protected in that way. Not only that, but by splitting the estate into 2 pieces, we've now effectively doubled the estate tax exemption. What I mean by that, I'll explain with an example. Had a client, she wasn't a client, she came to me after her husband passed away. They had a $10 million estate. And he thought he'd save some money, so he did his own will. And he saved himself, $1,500. Problem was that he didn't put this little paragraph in there saying, when this happens, then a trust is established. And that's all you need to do. That paragraph would have saved their kids $2 million in federal estate tax in that a situation of a $10 million estate. The estate tax, federal estate tax, could have been 0, but instead it was over $2 million. Pretty simple thing that could have been done. He did save $1,500 though. I'm sure he got himself a nice new lawnmower, but that $2 million is going to go away. So it's important to consider this as you're updating your will, that can be a very important thing. Another case of trust and how they might be used, let's say I talked to somebody just yesterday, another $10 million estate. And I said, well, where's the money going to go? He said, my 2 kids. I said, how are they with money? He said, well, one of them's really good and one not so much. I said, oh, okay. Well, in the will, we could put that not so much person's money into trust and have somebody manage it and manage the distributions to that person. So that was a good answer. Another problem that can happen is you can actually ruin people's lives by not having trust in your will. Let me explain. Let's say you want to do a good thing and leave each of your grandkids, you got 10 of them, say, you want to leave each of them $100,000. So you put them in the will, and you don't put them in you don't set up a trust. Well, when they turn 18, they get $100,000. So they have a stack of $100 bills and a stack of college applications. Gosh, that $100,000 looks like they don't need college, so those go in the trash. Bad things happen when 18-year-olds have a lot of money. I'm sure we can all agree with that, generally. And so you can actually ruin an entire generation of people by not setting up a proper trust. So there's all kinds of different uses for trust. There's things called special needs trusts. Maybe you have somebody that has special needs, a child or grandchild, and you want to set money up for them that won't go away. You don't want to just give them a pile of money. There's also different kind of charitable trusts you can set up. We'll talk about that in the legacy planning a little bit more in this presentation. But it's just important to note that trust can be a huge generational transfer technique. Protect your family, protect your kids, protect your grandkids, save a ton of money in estate taxes. And you don't even have to establish them when you're thinking about all of this. You just have to have it in your will that if this happens, then the trust is established, and this is what it needs to do. And so that's really all you need to do. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on an attorney just to set up these trusts that you're not sure or understand. You just need to take care of that part now.